Our topic for today is which short stories will leave you breathless? This is a super popular answer that someone posted without revealing their identity. By Leo Tolstoy. How much land does a man need? The protagonist of the story is a peasant named Pahom, who overhears his wife and sister-in-law argue over the merits of town and peasant farm life. He thinks to himself, if I had plenty of land, I shouldn't fear the devil himself. Unbeknownst to him, Satan is present sitting behind the stove and listening. Satan abruptly accepts his challenge and also tells that he would give Pahom more land and then snatch everything from him. A short amount of time later, a landlady in the village decides to sell her estate, and the peasants of the village buy as much of that land as they can. Pahom himself purchases some land, and by working off the extra land is able to repay his debts and live a more comfortable life. However, Pahom then becomes very possessive of his land, and this causes arguments with his neighbors. Threats to burn his building began to be uttered. Later, he moves to a larger area of land at another commune. Here, he can grow even more crops and amass a small fortune, but he has to grow the crops on rented land, which irritates him. Finally, after buying and selling a lot of fertile and good land, he is introduced to the Bashkirs, and is told that they are simple-minded people who own a huge amount of land. Pahom goes to them to take as much of their land for as low a price as he can negotiate. Their offer is very unusual. For a sum of 1,000 rubles, Pahom can walk around as large an area as he wants, starting at daybreak, marking his route with a spade along the way. If he reaches his starting point by sunset that day, the entire area of land his route encloses will be his, but if he does not reach his starting point he will lose his money and receive no land. He is delighted as he believes that he can cover a great distance and has chanced upon the bargain of a lifetime. That night, Pahom experiences a surreal dream in which he sees himself lying dead by the feet of the devil, who is laughing. He stays out as late as possible, marking out land until just before the sun sets. Toward the end, he realizes he is far from the starting point and runs back as fast as he can to the waiting Bashkirs. He finally arrives at the starting point just as the sun sets. The Bashkirs cheer his good fortune, but exhausted from the run, Pahom drops dead. His servant buries him in an ordinary grave only 6 feet long, thus ironically answering the question posed in the title of the story. There are countless more. Here is a list I could come up with. 1. A boring story. 2. The student. 3. A happy man. For the fish. 5. Fat and thin. All by Anton Chekhov. 6. The child's story, Charles Dickens. 7. Odor of chrysanthemums. 8. The pit and the pendulum. 9. The telltale heart. 10. The mask of the red death. 11. Hop Frog. All by Alan E. Poe. 12. Signs and Symbols by Vladimir Nabokov. 13. The Snows of Kilimanjaro by Ernest Hemingway. 14. The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. 15. The Rockinghorse Winner by D. H. Lawrence. 16. The Celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County by Mark Twain. 17. Rikki Tikki Tavi by Rudyard Kipling. 18. 3 Questions by Leo Tolstoy. 19. The Very Old Man with Enormous Wings by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. 20. Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. 21. The Looking Glass by Anton Chekhov. 22. The South by Jorge Luis Borges. 23. The Nightingale and the Rose by Oscar Wilde. 24. The Necklace by Guy de Maupassant. 25. The Cask of Amontillado by A. E. Poe. 26. The Terror. 27. A Father's Confession. 28. A Piece of String. 29. Belham's Beast. 3. Two Friends. 31. The Vendetta. 32. The Cripple. 33. The Diary of a Madman. 34. Alexandra. 35. The Effeminates. 36. Boule de Suif. 37. Two Friends. 38. The Log. 39. A Duel. 48. Dead Woman's Secret. All by Guy de Maupassant. 41. The Cats of Ulthar. 4. 535.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.